Now, straight off the bat, I will say that although AX went well, I was just underwhelmed. Welcome back, everyone. Hi, my name is Rebecca. I am the owner of Kembeckled, a small business where I sell colorful wigs, bonnets, do-rags, crochet hats, and more. And today is all about my experience at Anime Expo 2024, also known as AX. So for those of you unfamiliar, AX is the largest anime convention that we have here in North America, and they see an attendance of over 100K each year. And for a little comparison, MomoCon, the con that I did like a month and a half ago, they have an attendance of over 50K. So just imagine a crowd double that size for AX. For a lot of artists, this is like their top convention of the year. Like, this is the con where they drop everything to go to AX. Like, they plan their whole entire year around AX, and they have like constant prep for it and everything like that. So when I applied, I'm not gonna lie to you, if we're being quite honest, I was very shocked that I got in. I'm the type of person where it's just like, as long as I apply, then I know that I've done my best. So I was like, what's the harm in applying? So I did that, but I was not expecting to get accepted simply because I don't have that much like anime convention experience. I don't know why I thought like, oh my gosh, they might not accept me because I had to have done like a trillion anime cons. I'm like, if your booth looks good and you have products that they would like to feature at that con, you'll be fine. So I don't know why I was second guessing myself. Also because the only anime convention that I had done prior to that, well, prior to the date itself of Anime Expo, I did DreamCon back in 2023 and MomoCon, of course, like a month and a half earlier. But when I actually applied and was like got into Anime Expo, I hadn't even done MomoCon yet. So the only actual anime con like on my report like my portfolio was DreamCon. So the fact that, and of course I've done like other markets and stuff, so the fact that they saw my setup from just that and like my products and everything, and it was a jury process and they let me in, I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of feeling myself a little bit. I was really excited. So I was like, oh my gosh, AX! I feel so blessed that I got accepted to so many conventions this year. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But getting into AX itself is a really, really big deal. I've gone to AX as an attendee in the past, and even that was overwhelming for me. So I'm just like, I can't even imagine how it would be as an artist. But now that I have another con under my belt, which is MomoCon, I'm wondering, does double the attendance give you double the traffic, double sales? Let's see. It's July 1st. They already blocked off this, like, what is this, Pico Boulevard? It's already cut off, bro. I wonder what they're gonna have down here. Up just to stop the traffic, but this street's already blocked off. And we're here at Anime Expo. Day -2. Look at all the boxes. Oh my gosh. Made it in one trip. I came in through here. And Artist Alley is right here. It's so convenient. I just gotta drag this. Over here, I made it. I made it. That's all that matters. I made it. This is what the hall looks like on day -1. And here we are. Woo, it's my table. I'm not on the corner like I was from MomoCon, but corner-esque, they can like still come. It's like a huge gap right here. And then, bam, see my table. My neighbors set up already. Their booth already looks so cute. Oh, nice. This is the space we have behind the table. They've marked the lines. I guess this is the amount of space that you can be behind here. But it looks like that. I know a lot of people are always wondering, like I always wondered, like how much space behind like specific artist alley tables for different cons, but this is how much it is for AX. It's not a lot at all. It's not like MomoCon at all. And you have to keep like all your, look at the chair. Oh, I need to bring a cushion for this. Oh my goodness. All right, let's set up. For anyone wondering, you can fit 2 bins underneath the tables. Some tables are different, but you can fit 2 here. So note for myself, this is how much space you have. So you have these 2, what is it? I think these are Lowe's bins, not the Home Depot one, so it's a Lowe's one. They're about the same size. They're the same amount of gallons, but I still have space above the bin to like put other stuff there too. I just realized that I forgot my connectors for my grid panels. Got the grid panels. No connectors because I forgot them. I literally have to go back home now. I'm so tired. It's 9 o'clock. This is what I got done, and I am leaving. It is 8:47. The hall closes in 13 minutes, and this is what the booth is looking like. I think it was nice to change it from like all that red that was all like the signage and stuff like that to the blue, and then just having the prices and the red instead. I think it looks pretty good. Ooh, this one is kind of like overlapping this one. I try to fit a lot of things on a 6-foot table. I have a lot of shit, bro. I have so much stuff. I'm gonna bring the Luffy. I have the Luffy hat here, but I don't have the hat like stand or whatever. So I need to bring that tomorrow because I ordered more on Amazon. I changed the signs for all the do-rags and bonnets and stuff to the blue color as well. And the catalog is right here. I don't think people will be able to see it, to be honest, because it's gonna be really crowded, but it's there. Oh, that reminds me, I have to put holes in this. And then we're set. I'm about to pack up. Also, this is what the back of the artist eye is looking like now that everyone's kind of like set up. There's like a little pathway that you can walk down. Luckily, there's like this little pole here so people that's in the halfway point can still come out over here. But I unpacked most of my stuff. It's very colorful at the back of my booth. I just wanted to make sure that I'm able to like grab everything. So I'll have my tote bags up here, the hats down here, classic bonnets, tie bonnets, the do-rags, and then the kid bonnets, the scrunchies, my generator, business cards, miscellaneous stuff, and then I have like 2 boxes underneath here. These 2 boxes, and that's it. I'm ready to go.
Attention, empty hall! It is now 9 o'clock and the hall is closed. Once again, we are closed. We will be open at 7 for tomorrow, 7 a.m.
Good morning. It is day 1 of AX. I don't know if you can see, but the line is like wrapping all around the building, bro. It's 7:23 a.m. The convention doesn't start until 9. They said that if it's too much, like people here, they're gonna have, and the fire marshal tells them to disperse. They have them enter at 8 o'clock just to have them disperse. But if it's not that bad, then everyone just gets in at 9. But look at all the people. Sheesh. Let me go to my booth. The line is over there, and that's where security is. Then looped around over there, and now going in this way. So this is Pico Boulevard where it's closed down. This is what the booth was looking like on day 1. I just have to put the lights out, but everything else is out now. Okay, it's 8:10. This is what the hall is looking like. People are still setting up. The hall officially opens at 9. I guess there's not too many people outside, so the fire marshal didn't let them in yet, but this is what it looks like before the madness, like the true madness. Everyone's just like scrambling right now. I want to check out over there because I haven't seen over there at all. Come on, oh, kitty cafe. How cute. So these are like the larger 10 by 10 booths. These are so cool. Look at this setup. These are too cute. Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's adorable. This is so cute.
It is now 8:15. You have 45 minutes to get show ready. Please be show ready.
Okay, y'all, I am checking in. It is now 10:58 a.m. So the hall's officially been open for about 2 hours now. And we got a couple of sales already. It's been pretty steady. It's not like too packed yet, but it's not like a slow, dead Thursday like it is for other cons. So I think sales today should be pretty good. They opened early, like at 8:56, not a whole hour early, like 8 a.m. like they said, but 4 minutes early. And it's been good thus far. I think I'm gonna sell out of some of the hats probably by Saturday because I don't have that many made. And then I'm for sure the strawberry milk bonnet is probably gonna get sold out today for the classic ones because I only have like 4 or 3 left. 1, 2, I have 4 left for that. But it's been good. Just wanted to check in.
Stick a whole ass figure on it. Did you make this? Huh? Did you make that? Yeah, absolutely.
That's so dope. Do you like make them as for like commissions?
I honestly think I might start doing that.
Do you want to shout yourself out for my vlog?
Oh shoot. Sure.
Oh, you don't have to.
Sure.
Okay, just because like you have like a product. Just call them like your IG.
Hi, I think I'm gonna start doing these as commissions. My IG is Miko MIKO_HUNI. Huni should be like a purple icon.
And I'll tag you. Don't worry.
It's
Look
so
at how
sweet.
dope it is. Look at the details.
It's so fun.
Look at it with the bag. I love it. I actually haven't checked in with y'all in like a long time, but you got a corn dog? Oh my gosh. But sales today have been pretty good. It's been pretty steady today. I think this is like one of the best first days I've had as far as like in comparison to other cons that I've gone to, which is expected because the attendance count for this is like 100,000 kind of thing. Yeah, it's been pretty good. Can't complain. I'm looking forward to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hi y'all, please don't hate me. It's now like 5:45. We got 15 minutes left of day 2. I did not do a single day of check-in. Recap, it was pretty slow in the morning, and then after that it was kind of just like waves of people around. Like after like 1:30, 2 o'clock, it was wave, and then it'll be okay, and then waves, and then after like 3:30 it was wave. So at first I thought it wouldn't be as good as Thursday, but I think it got better. Sarah customer king. But yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of like Nami-esque wearing the Nami hat today. Got little tangerines. Yeah. Yeah, we got 15 minutes left. I will check later if the sales were like comparable to yesterday. I think they're about the same. Might be a little bit better. I will say there've been a lot of cash transactions, which is really surprising. So if you're gonna do AX in the future, let me block the light. There we go, block the light. If you're gonna do AX in the future, I definitely recommend that you bring enough cash because it was a lot of cash transactions to bring change. This is what it was like. And also, this is Tyler. She's my helper this weekend. I don't think I introduced you, but this is she.
Hey, it's me.
If you came to the booth, you might have been talking to me or her.
We're twins today, so you probably can
Our
tell.
sisters. Hi. Hey, good morning, y'all. It is officially day 3 of Anime Expo. Today we started at like 8:50, 8:45. They had to start like a little bit early, and it was like a really slow beginning, I would say. A lot of people are saying in the Discord that sales are way lower than they were in previous years, and you can even see that with the halls. Like usually it's like bumper to bumper traffic or whatever, but it's not that busy this year, not gonna lie. Like I think we're doing okay with sales. Like I already made back booth and my expenses, so everything like after the first day was already profit for me. But I feel bad for the people that like flew in and brought a lot of stuff expecting to sell a lot and aren't really doing as well. But it's slowly starting to pick up now, so we'll see how Saturday goes. It's supposed to be the busiest day, so we'll see. Also, fit check. This is what I'm wearing.
Come on.
You can't see my pants. Hold on. This is Tyler.
Hi. Look at the ears.
Her. Yeah. That's it. All right. Wish us luck. Hi.
The green lashes.
Sure. The green lashes and yeah.
One and the tie one.
Which one?
The tie bonnet.
Which print?
The turquoise one with the
Turquoise. Okay. Oh, the tilt out. Thank you. And did you want to do anything else? And the sticker? And did you want to do cash or card today? Alrighty.
Like your coaching.
Thank you. It's getting me through all of this, the madness. And then did you want a bag with that? Okay. It's going to be right on that screen. You all set? Thank you so much.
Can I record your book?
Yes, of course. Hi.
I'm so happy. There's my link. What's your little?
Yes, I have it. I got you. I got
Okay, I'm gonna
you.
get that.
Oh, wait. Oh, dang it. I feel so bad. It's sold out. Yeah, I have some at home, but it's sold out here. Yeah. Are you going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
Would you like to come back tomorrow and I can bring? Okay.
Tomorrow.
I got you.
Okay. I will be here.
Okay.
I'll be here early.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I need one.
I got you. I have like a ton at home.
Prepay for it. Like I need one.
Okay, let's do that.
Because I need it. Like I won't be back.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. We need more tote bags. Hi. Sure, which one would you like? I only have it in the tie style. Is that okay? So I can show you. This is what the classic style looks like, and this is the tie style.
That's perfect.
Okay. The charade milk one? Okay.
This one, they have it in the regular style. Let's take the tie style.
Tie style? Okay. So the brown Kembeckled and charade milk. And will that be all for you?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And did you want to do a cash or card today?
Card.
Okay. Hey, you're all set. Thank you so much. And you can take a card as well. And it has the booth number in the back. Hi. The tie one? Okay. So just the bonnet for you?
Oh, and the sticker.
And the sticker, you can grab which one you like. Thank you. And did you want a bag? Alrighty. And would you like to do cash or card today? It'll be on that screen right there. You're all set. Thank you so much. You as well. Have a great con, y'all. Hi. Welcome. Would you like it with the classic bonnet style or the tie style? Right here.
Braids.
They, braids. I would say this one. They both are about the same size, but this with the tie one, because braids are a little bit heavy, you'll be able to secure it to your head a little bit better.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I look at it.
Yeah, go ahead and touch them, feel them, everything.
So you said this one is better?
Yeah, just so you'll be able to secure it to your head because of the weight.
I see it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, can I get that one?
And which print did you want?
CB01.
Oh, one. Okay. And did you want a bag for that?
Yes, please.
Okay. And did you want to do cash or card today?
Card.
Alrighty.
Oh, I like that pink speaker.
Thank you. I don't want to have to scream the whole time.
Yeah, I saw you guys at MomoCon, but you were all sold out.
Yes, I know. Even now, I'm sold out for like the scrunchy one, the classic one. I only have the Thai one for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're so hot. They're so popular.
Right. Well, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
After this, I'm gonna grab grab some strawberry ones from down there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Did you get the speaker from?
I'm from Amazon. It's called a voice amplifier.
Oh, let me write it down.
Mm-hmm.
So, a voice amplifier?
Mm-hmm. Hello.
I'm so sorry. Are you on TikTok?
I am.
Okay, I was just like, these look familiar, but I don't know if it's the same person.
That's me. That's me. It's me.
Oh my god. CB04, I think it is the brown one.
Mm-hmm.
And CB09, both in the tie bonnet.
Tie bonnet. Okay, got you.
This is actually useful. I've justified in my purchase. So I have to replace the ones I have anyways.
Perfect timing. You're all set.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Store 15 has definitely picked up a lot more. Like even in the aisles, it's a lot busier today. So that's pretty good. So sales have been definitely, I think today will probably be the best day as far as sales go. So I'm happy. I talked to some of my vendor friends and some of them are saying like, yeah, this is definitely like a slower AX. You know, it's my first time. I'm still doing good regardless, but I'm excited to see better. Yes, you may.
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you think the Anya hat would fit a 5-year-old?
Yes.
Okay.
They are smaller than the rest of them, purposely just for kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
She would literally freak out. I'll get the Anya hat.
I don't have any more here in the back. Are you okay getting the one on display?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
cool. I'll bring some more tomorrow.
Thank you.
Of course.
Or actually, would I be able to reserve one for tomorrow?
Yeah, you can pay for it now and then pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I can give you one, a fresh one.
Thank you. Yeah, I would appreciate that.
No problem.
The microphone is so smart.
I know, I don't want to scream and you can hear me clearly. Everyone complimented. I'm like, I'm so glad. I'm good
Genius.
news. There you go. And then let's do your receipt just so you can get to come back. You can have it emailed or texted to you. It'll be right there at the bottom. Okay, you're all set.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
What number's your booth?
Age 43.
Can I get a strawberry milk bonnet?
Sure, I only have it available in the tie style. Is that okay? So this is the classic scrunchie. I only have it in the tie one.
Can you really quickly walk? I've only ever used the scrunchy style, so can you just walk me through really quick?
Oh yeah. It's just a matter of preference, to be honest. Some people like the scrunchy one where you just kind of slip it on and go. And some people that are like rough sleepers like being able to tie it on, secure it to their head.
Okay. That might be my issue then with my Yeah, I move around a lot, so
So you want to do? Would you like to do the tie one?
Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, the tie ones are 20 instead of the 15. Is that okay? Okay. Let me check you out. And do you want to do cash or card? Ah, you're all set. Thank you so much. Of course. See you tomorrow. Hi there. Welcome.
I love your sorry, I call your service.
Thank you. The actual like tie kind of one. And then
Is it the same for all of them?
yes.
No, that you only have the tie style?
Oh no. The ones that I don't have in the classic one are marked out.
Oh,
In the green little sticker on each one. If you look at the bonnets. Yeah. The 3 bonnets and then the 2 scrunchies is gonna be $60.22.
what's your cash number?
It's which one we prefer? Cash? Okay, let me check for you. And unfortunately we're all out of bags. Is that okay? Okay, cool. Here you are. Thank you so much. Oh, and here is the business card. I don't know if you grabbed one. Okay, cool. Thank you. We got durags, we got bonnets, scrunchies, we got wigs, hats, totes.
Anya hat, does it fit like a big head?
No, that one is the only one that's smaller than the rest of them. I just wanted to make sure that kids will be able to wear it too, so I made it a little bit smaller. Yeah.
Which ones you got like
The Mostako? But that's because I bought more.
Maybe the spooky one, the Halloween one. No, you can wear it underneath your shower cap, but it's not waterproof. Yeah, I'm trying to make some though. The 3 for $40. Yeah, you can mix and match. Here's your change. And here are your cards. I'm sorry we're out of bags today.
No, it's all good.
Okay. Thank you so much. You as well.
Thank you.
Of course. Hi, y'all. It's like a makeup one. Like they have a little makeup print on it? I do. Not for the bonnets. I saw it's all sold out. Like, I'm not going to do that print anymore. I only have it for the durags, yeah.
Okay, all right. Never mind, it's fine. Are you gonna do any other events anytime soon? 'Cause
I'm
you
gonna-
said you're local.
Yeah, in LA.
Yeah. Thank
My next LA show is going to be LA Comic-Con.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be there.
Okay.
No, we'll be here. I guess I should say.
At that time, that's October, right? I'll have the spooky ones again.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
The first weekend of October.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I'll have all of
That's
that.
not that far from now. All right.
No,
All right.
it's like
Well,
around the
I'll see you
corner.
there.
I'll see you later. Okay, it's 2:37. Sales has been pretty good thus far. Everyone's doing like their last minute shopping because they have basically like 20 minutes left. It's been cool. I feel like AX overall has been pretty cool for the first time. I would come back again. I know some people did okay, some people did great, some people not so great. But we did cool. So I'm content. I'm happy. I'll give you the full review afterward, but so far, good AX. I want to go home. I'm tired. I'm not tired, but I want to go home.
You have moved the bonnets online.
Yeah, some of them. Which one do you have in mind?
The
Which
one,
print?
the brown, pink one.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, I have them online. I have the Thai ones available now, but the scrunchy ones, I have to order more. I don't have any available online.
What's the difference between? I never tried the Thai ones. What's like the difference between the Thai and like the?
It's just a matter of preference. So the classic one is like the scrunchy one.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And then Thai one, you can like tie it around your head to make it more secure.
Yeah.
I recommend it for like rough sleepers. Yeah. When if you're like tossing and turning in your sleep, I think the Thai one would be better.
It's really beautiful.
Thank
and,
you.
Yeah, and where I'm from, we don't really have like big, you know, high quality like
Bonnets, yeah. That's why I want it to be like an online store that people can go to and like get whatever they
black
needed.
girls,
Yeah.
you know, because especially the anime community doesn't have a lot of us black girls, you know, so.
Have to represent.
Yeah, literally. You know what? I'll take this one and the Taiwan one.
This color?
Yeah, I think it's that color. Yeah.
Did you need a bag?
No, I have a bag.
And then did you want to do cash or card today?
Card, please.
Thank
you so much. Appreciate
Of course. Thank you so much. 10 more minutes. One more minute.
Attention, attention. Expo Hall is officially closed. If you are new to the please make your way towards the exit.
We're done. We're free. Dobby is a free elf. Day 44 and we are all packed up. The booth is cleared. I got everything in them 4 boxes and then our grid cubes in there. And thank you AX. Everyone is, as you can see, they're like all freaking down right now.
We did our first ever AX. I'm geeked. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous going into it, but now that I've done my first ever AX, let's get into the recap. As always, if you visited me at my AX booth, thank you so much for coming by and shopping with me, saying hi, all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Every single time I have a con, I'm just overwhelmed by just how nice everyone is when they're coming up to me. So I'm just like, thank you. And I feel like that a lot of people have been following me on social media prior to this specific convention, especially because I've been making reels and stuff like that earlier in the year. So for a lot of people, this was their very first time even seeing me in person. So that was really, really cool. And if you got to see me, hi, thanks for stopping by. Also, prior to Anime Expo, I had a Kickstarter for my 3 pirate inspired crochet hats that I was making, but I didn't have them done in time for MomoCon. So this was the first convention that I would be at that I had all 3 hats available for purchase. So that also brought a lot of people in from social media that wanted the hats. So they came in person for that. The first day of AX, I had sold so many of my Dr. V2 hats that I had to put a post on my IG story saying like, hey guys, I got 3 left of these. I think one person saw it and came that same day because I think there was 40 minutes left of the con on that Thursday, but then the next day, Friday morning, they were sold out. So thank you guys so much for selling me out with the doctor hats. I appreciate it so much. If you came to my booth and you weren't able to get one of the hats that sold out, I'm so sorry. I only am able to make a couple at a time. For each convention, I have a really small batch when I'm going to them. So I would advise you, if you really want a hat, come to my booth early. I feel like it sounds a little bit arrogant to say you should come to my booth first, but you should come to my booth first because the hats go so freaking fast every single time. I'm shocked every single time. And of course, if there are more left over for the next day or I'm getting really low in quantities, I do, for the most part, put most of my up-to-date stuff on my IG stories throughout the weekend. Like, hey guys, I have 5 left. You would more than likely get that kind of notification on my IG story. So follow me over on IG or in the Kembeckled Discord. Now, here are a couple random things to know as well as changes about AX this past year. For one, they provided you with free Wi-Fi. That is a rarity in a lot of conventions. A lot of conventions, you either have to use your phone as a hotspot or have a mobile hotspot like a Solus or the Glocal Me, one of those. So them actually providing Wi-Fi for you at the con was a nice little bonus to me. At the same time, I don't think they really had much of a choice because the way that Kensha Hall, which is where the artist alley is, the way that it is placed is actually right below South Hall. So we're in the parking structure underneath South Hall. Okay, like if we didn't get that Wi-Fi, I think we'd be kind of screwed. So for me personally, I was able to connect with my Solus or my phone earlier in the morning, but as traffic picked up towards midday, like after 12, it was acting real funky and I had to switch over to the con Wi-Fi. The only issue I had was that when I tried to connect with the con Wi-Fi, it didn't allow me to connect my iPad to my Shopify terminal. So I usually, if you see my setup, I have my Shopify terminal on the table and I use my iPad to just put in people's orders and everything like that, and then they can check out on the terminal in front of me. Because I try to limit as much physical contact that I have with customers, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit of a germaphobe and I just feel like there's too many hands. Like, I'd rather you just deal with everything right there. I don't want to have to keep passing my iPad back and forth. You can just do all the transactions on your end and I can do everything else over here on my end. I like that. And the whole process is just easier that way. However, when I was on the con Wi-Fi, it wasn't allowing my iPad to pair up with the terminal, so I did make note of that. So it was frustrating because that's my ideal setup, and I kept trying to switch between my mobile hotspot as well as the con Wi-Fi to see what would work better, and it just wasn't working out. I had to depend on the con Wi-Fi, so I was doing that over the days of the con to the point where I just got frustrated and I was just like, screw this. I dislodged the terminal, so I just used it as the mobile version, which is the POS Go. If you're familiar with the Shopify terminal system, and basically it's like me passing the iPad. So I would do all the checkouts on the POS Go, and they have to just check out that way. It's not an ideal way to do things. However, I had to just do it because there would be customers coming up and I'll just be fiddling with all the stuff, being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm waiting for this to connect. In AX, there's a lot of people there, and I don't want to cause any kind of crowding with a line forming. So I'm just like, I need to get this troubleshooted ASAP. Next thing I'll note is the weather. It's typically really hot in that time of the year in LA. So a lot of people already know there's really huge crowds in Anime Expo. So you tend to get even hotter when you're in the convention. So a lot of artists tend to bring fans that they have behind their booths to keep them chill. Fortunately enough, I actually didn't get hot this past AX. I feel like I was just comfortable behind my booth, even while I was wearing my mask. And when you're wearing a mask, you tend to get a little bit warmer. So I'm just like, I felt like it was fine. And speaking of masks, this is the one convention, if you are the type of person that goes to cons and you don't mask up, let let AX be the exception, please. There were so many attendees and artists, unfortunately, that got COVID afterward. And to be honest, I kind of expected it. So I didn't even I just erred on the side of caution. Where I'm just like, I'm gonna wear my mask, bro. I can't. I feel like this con is just way too big for me to not wear my mask. I know you guys want to come see me and we have that connection and everything like that, but I'm like, I will try my hardest to be even more bubbly with this mask on. And while I'm wearing my mask, I also wear a voice amplifier that you've seen me wear in my previous vlog, and I wear it at like all my conventions. If I go to a convention or an event, I'm bringing my voice amplifier every single time, baby. So basically the way it works is that I usually have the speaker around my neck or situated somewhere on the booth, and then as soon as I speak into the mic, they can hear me through the speaker, and it just makes checking out and just the whole interaction with customers so much easier for me, because there are cons where they're blasting music, or it's just like the crowd is too loud, or even your customer can be hard of hearing. So having a voice amplifier just helps both me and the customer, because at the end of the day, these cons can be really straining, trying to like raise your voice to connect with customers, and you can end up losing your voice at the end of it, which I've done in the past. I was like, I'm not losing my voice at another convention again. I need an amplifier now. So I highly recommend it if you are someone who is either soft-spoken or wants to wear a mask at conventions. I think a amplifier is a great addition for your Artist Alley booths. And I feel as though I have a lot of tips and tricks about things that you can have while you're doing your booth at Artist Alley. So if you ever want to see a video on that about Artist Alley must-haves, let me know. I might just make one. Next one is the parking. The parking gets really full very fast at AX. I actually just Ubered or took the bus over to AX every day. I did not bring a car. I don't have a car. So I was not in that situation. However, I know from just like other Artist Alley people and like vendors telling me it gets full very, very fast. So if you want to park in one of the garages, you have to come early. There are vendors that come, I kid you not, even though the con starts at 9, there are vendors that come as early as 5 a.m. to wait for the garage to open so they can get a spot. So don't think like, oh, I'm here at 8:30. I'm pretty early. The con starts in 30. There's not gonna be no spots, babes. And spots are taken. And something that I found out this year was that usually people try to park in South Hall, which is closest to where the Artist Alley is, because that's like more convenient. There was times where people were saying that they weren't letting them park in South Hall until West Hall was completely filled, which is farther away. So it's either you have to wait until West Hall got filled, or you would alternatively have to go and park over in West Hall and then walk over to the main hall area. So that was unfortunate, but something to note. Next, we were actually able to pick our placement on the map, which is another rarity. It's not common for cons to allow artists to pick their spots. I know it's something that typically happens over in the vendor hall, like you can pick where you want to be once the map is open, but that was an option over for Artist Alley and AX, so I thought that was pretty cool. I would say it's really similar to buying concert tickets. It's very much first come, first serve. Once they open the maps up for everyone, you can literally select any spot that you want that's available, and you have to be fast because you and someone else can be going for the same exact spot. So once that's taken, of course you have to find the next one, and so on and so forth. So I would just say going into it, I don't know if that will still be the process next year. I don't know if next year artists will still have the option of picking where they're placed. However, if that is the case, I would say go into it with a game plan. Already look into what the map looks like for AX and decide whether or not you want to be towards the front more or towards the back more. If you want to be towards the entrance, so you're basically one of the first booths that the attendees are seeing when they're coming inside, or if you want to be more closer to the bathroom so that it's easy for you to run back and forth, especially if you're doing it solo. So those are things to keep in mind, and basically just have a sense of what area you want to be in, what aisle you want to be in, as well as different options. In case you don't get your ideal spot, have some backup spots in mind in advance so you know exactly what to do once they get taken up. The next change was that the show hours increased by 1 hour each day. So last year, the Artist Alley opened at 10 a.m., but this year they shifted everything up to 9 a.m. So a lot of artists were not happy about that because now they have to wake up earlier, of course. But then again, a whole extra hour means another hour to make money. So You win some, you lose some. But we had to be there at 9 a.m. Actually, not even 9 a.m. because they actually wanted us to be show ready, I think by 8 o'clock. So basically AX has this reputation of being super duper crowded. I'm sure some of you have even seen like those huge crowd pictures at AX from previous years. So there are times where the fire marshal just like, hey, you got to disperse the crowd kind of thing. And that even happens with the lines outside. So they sent us a protocol letting us know that, hey, if the lines get too long outside and the fire marshal calls it a fire hazard, they're gonna let people in earlier than the 9 a.m. show time, so just be show ready. So a lot of artists were there from 8 a.m. or some even from 7 a.m. I myself, I'm not gonna lie, I came 10 minutes before 9 each time because at the end of the day, they actually didn't let anyone in super duper early. There was one point, I think maybe Saturday, where they started letting the crowd in, but it was into the actual venue itself. So they were still in the front of the con center, not in the arts alley itself. I think the earliest that they let someone in was probably 8:45, 8:50 the most, but not the full hour earlier. So that was good. Another thing that was different for this year was that there were actually 2 setup days as well as a day -2. So show days are day 1 to day 4 because it's a 4-day convention. They had a day -2. So the reason for this is because when we bought our table package on ShowClicks, we pay for shipping and we're supposed to have our badges for the con shipped to us. Some people ended up getting their badge shipped to them and then a whole bunch of us, me included, didn't get any badges at all shipped. So they knew this going like a little bit closer to the time of the con and they let us know, hey guys, because of this, they're gonna have a day -2 where they allow you to come to the con center and just pick up a badge. So that was day -2, just badge pickup, not set up. And then they had day -1 and day 0, which was actually set up. And the way that they do it is that they have basically Artist Alley is broken up into 3 main blocks. So those 3 main blocks have different move-in times. So for my block, I'm in that 3rd block in the back. And I think our move-in time was from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. On both day 1 and day 0, I was able to come in after 4:30 to set up. So that's basically what I did. And I loved it so much. I know it was only because of the circumstances that they did it this year, but bring that back. I liked it. I liked that quite a bit. Simply because I feel as though having 2 days of setup just gives me so much time just get my ish together, and especially because I actually ended up forgetting some of my display stuff, but I wasn't stressed because I knew I had just ample time to like get everything done. So I did like the bare bones that first day -1, sorry, and then on day 0 I was able to finalize everything and just bring everything else that I needed, and it was like a really stress-free process setting up for AX. So it left me really nice and chill and zen. So I like that. I like that quite a bit. The next thing to note was that we were told that we could not put anything behind our booths. So if you've done Artist Alley, you typically know you have your 6 foot or 8 foot table where you display everything, and you typically have space behind your booth to like put your inventory, your chairs, where you sit, where you stand, yada yada yada. AX had a rule specifically that you are not allowed to have anything protruding from your table. So you could have your display sit on the table. You can have like anything displayed shooting out of it in the aisle where attendees walk. And you also couldn't have anything coming out from the behind of it. So all of your inventory had to either be on the table if you put it in one of the cubbies behind your booth, or underneath the table. You weren't allowed to have any kind of stock or inventory in between the side of you, which I thought was, I'll get into that later. But in addition to that, there's also a height limit for your booth. You are not able to have any kind of structure built past 7 feet and 6 inches off the ground. So if you have those 12 by 12 grid panels, similar to the ones that I use, you're not allowed to go any higher than 5 panels up from the table. So that it's about 7 foot and 6 inches with that setup. So just keep that in mind, that there are height and I guess overall just table restrictions for AX. And the volunteers do go around with a stick checking to see that your height is within the height restriction. So don't think like, oh, no one will be able to tell. They go and check, babes. They go and check. So make sure that you are planning in advance and make sure that you're coming with a setup that is within those restrictions. Next thing is that they actually did come around and check your seller's permit. So for those of you that are unaware, whenever you go to a convention in each state, you have to get a seller's permit in order to sell any kind of products in that specific state. So if you're going to go to Maryland, you have to get a permit for that state. If you're going to go to Cali, you have to get a permit for that state. So they actually did come around and check. I already had mine on my phone, so I showed it to them that way, and that was fine. You can also print it out. But that is something to note. This is one of the conventions that actually do check. There were cons that always said that, oh, they'll check, but then they don't. But AX, they checked. What else? In past years, you were able to share a table at AX, but then they banned that for this year. So there's only one artist that was allowed at each table, and there was only a max of 2 people that could be behind each table. If you had 2 different helpers and you in addition, only one helper could be there with you at a time. So just 2 people behind a booth at a time. And this next one is pretty long, I'm not gonna lie to you. But another thing that was interesting to me was actually the application process. It seems like AX has been changing its application process slowly but surely within the past few years. And just to preface, I can only speak to the aspects of the year that I attended with certainty, and then everything that I am going to touch on for the previous years are things that I heard down the grapevine. So take it with a grain of salt. I might be wrong with some things, but for the most part, I think I am correct. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. I don't mind being corrected. So although most cons don't do this, AX has a varying application process depending on your history with them. For this year, returning artists were juried and they had to pay a table fee of $650 when it comes to like taxes and everything in total. And then the new artists like myself were also juried and we had to pay $750 approximately. So there's a price difference whether or not you are coming in as a returning artist or a new artist. I heard that in 2023, the returning artists weren't juried the way that they were this past year. Instead, it was more like a first come, first serve basis. So basically, as long as you are fast enough to get a spot, you're able to get a spot as a returning artist. But it changed this year. The returning artists were juried. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Also, there's some sort of veteran status that they have with the AX Artist Alley. People that have done AX for, I think it's 10 plus years. So basically, they just automatically offer you a spot each year and you are able to just accept it or decline it. So I think that's interesting because this whole process is something that you typically don't see in other artist alleys. Every single year, everyone is basically considered a new applicant for the most part. You have to apply each and every year that you want to do the artist alley at other conventions. So it's interesting that AX has this process because it's really similar to some of the protocol that they do in the vendor hall for other conventions. So I'm like, interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like I kind of have a bit of mixed feelings towards it simply because for a lot of the artists that have done AX in the past, the returning artists, I feel as though you have a higher chance of getting into AX, which is really cool. And especially for the veteran status ones, it's really nice to just have a con where it's just like, I already know I'm going to be at this convention. I can plan around it. I can have an assured sense of income from that, knowing the amount of sales that I make from that. Kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of already made this money for the year kind of thing. And it's nice to have that security as an artist, especially with things changing each year when it comes to the economy or your acceptance into different artist alleys. Just having a specific con that's just like, I know I'm getting into this is really, really nice. But then on the other hand, like on the flip side, I know that a lot of people are concerned that they're not switching out the older artists for some of the newer artists and giving them a fair shot at the same exact spots. So that's one of the arguments that are being made. It's interesting though that for 2025, they're actually doing away with the whole entire like grandfather system that they had, and everyone is being treated basically the same. So I guess the people that were complaining about that little grandfather system, they might have just won. So basically the way that it's gonna work is that they are doing a screen lottery. So if you're unfamiliar with how a screen lottery works, similar to jury, they will pick who they think will be a good fit over in AX, and then they'll select a subgroup of people. And then that subgroup is gonna be placed into a lottery. And whoever is selected in that lottery is gonna end up getting a spot over in AX. So it's interesting, everything is basically by chance. It's not just strictly juried like how it was last year. It's juried and then randomness. I'm interested to see how that will play out. And then the last thing of things to note was something really, really crazy that happened. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it's a vendor's worst fear. This media was actually going around giving out notices of infringement. So for those of you unfamiliar, when it comes to animes or comics or anything like that, you're not supposed to actually sell fan art. Selling fan art / unlicensed merch is a no-no. However, there are a small handful of licenses that allow you to sell fan art, but for the vast majority, it's not allowed. So when you go to conventions, specifically larger conventions, they typically send out representatives for those licenses to go out and just make sure that they're not seeing any kind of unlicensed merch being sold. Now, when it comes to anime conventions, the culture is typically that when you're in the vendor hall, unlicensed merch is strictly prohibited, whereas when you're in the artist alley, it's typically permitted. Not to say that they're giving a thumbs up, like, yeah, sell fan art as an artist kind of thing. However, they typically leave artists alone. So what actually was really interesting for this AX was that upstairs in the vendor hall, they had representatives going around and issuing those notice of infringement because there were people selling unlicensed merch up there, which I'm just like, why would you do that? First of all, hello? And not only that, they came downstairs and also issued some to people that were in the annex within Kensha Hall. So Kensha Hall is where the artist alley is, the annex kind of part is, as well as the 18+ section. So they were issuing some over in the annex as well. So it's not as though, oh my gosh, I'm so happy they didn't come downstairs. They did come downstairs. They just left people in artist alley alone and went over to the other vendors that were over in the annex. So I'm bringing this up to say, if you are an artist that wants to vend at these larger conventions and you are feeling as though you're kind of outgrowing that 6-foot table space or that 8-foot table space and you want to move over to the vendor side, just know that you should be getting rid of all of your unlicensed merch before doing that, because you can get in a lot of trouble if you were to go over to that vendor side with that unlicensed merch. Not to say that you can't get in trouble as an artist too. They can go after you whenever they want to. However, when you're going over to the vendor side, you are putting a larger target on your back doing so. So that's just something to keep in mind, and something I wanted to bring up because I was like, if you're not aware, now you are. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the expenses, baby. So as I mentioned, the table fee for new artists was about $750 with the fees and everything like that. And that fee actually included the shipping charge to ship the badges to you. So because I didn't actually receive my badge via mail, and was also the case for a lot of other artists, we actually had that little fee refunded to us by ShowClicks. So I got that back a month later. So I'm gonna remove that little part from my table fee. I bought a bunch of Ubers that weekend. So this is my charge for that. I will say though, because I left my display pieces at home, I had to go back and take an Uber and then take another Uber coming back to the convention center. So in total, I feel as though my Uber fees would probably be like $100 less, but because I had to do that, it is what it is. That's on me. I didn't have to pay for a hotel because I live in LA and I'm really close to the convention center. So it's just like, why would I do that? I could just go back to my bed each day. So I didn't have to pay for that. So that was cool. I did have a helper though. And for the life of me, I can't remember how much I paid her. I want to say it was $350, but let's just say $300. I think I paid her like $300. I can't remember, but let's just use 300. So overall, my expenses were about $1,300, which is actually really similar to how much I paid to go out of state to MomoCon. But if I was coming into AX from out of state, that amount would have easily been double that. I could see myself easily spending like $3,000 in order to make the trip over to AX, just because even with getting a hotel alone, easily $3K, not even including the flight, shipping my products over here, it would have been a $3K con for me for sure. However, with my expenses being $1,300K, I was able to cover that the very first day of AX, so yay! So then after day one, everything else that I made for that weekend was just profit. Now, straight off the bat, I will say that although AX went well, I was just underwhelmed. From all the stories I've heard of artists hyping it up, I was definitely expecting a bit more. They were saying things like, you need to bring 3 times as much as you brought for your best show. You need to prepare for the lines and the crowds because they're gonna be so crazy and gonna sell out crazy. And you definitely need at least 1 to 2 helpers for it. And it was just like a lot of that going into the con, to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to mentally prepare myself for it. I am preparing my inventory for it. I'm building up a stock for the con. Hired my friend to work the booth for me. I'm testing out different layouts for the con and like strategies and stuff like that, all for the actual day of the cons to come. And I'm just like, this is very manageable. I just like, I'm not gonna lie, I did see a decent amount of traffic, but then there were also times where my aisle was just straight up slow to the point where I'm just like, this just felt like a very, not like a god tier show to me or anything like that, but as someone who has done shows where I've seen like a lot of traffic, it just feels like a regular, very good show to me. I don't know how else to describe it, and I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything like that. I don't know, it just did not live up to the expectations that were kind of built up in my head. And I think that even goes to show that you should take anything that people are saying with a grain of salt, even with like what I'm saying, just because a lot of things that people are saying when they're recommending these cons and telling you about them, they're all based on people's perspectives and their past experiences with other cons. So for me, really good shows for me have been like DreamCon and this past MomoCon. Would I say bring 3 times as much as I brought for MomoCon? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If anything, maybe 1.5 times as much, but 3 times? No. Bring a helper? You can, but I don't know. I feel like if you've done a big con by yourself, I think you're able to do AX by yourself. So if these people are comparing AX to very small conventions that they've done, I can see that 3 times the amount that you brought to that con kind of thing. However, if your best show is something really big like MomoCon or like DreamCon or maybe Otakon and Anime NYC and stuff like that, 3 times as much you might be bringing like excess. I'm not gonna lie to you. So just take that with a grain of salt and see like where that fits for you. If you've done cons that I've mentioned, see where that aligns inventory wise as to what you would bring if you are accepted into AX. And in addition, it just didn't feel as crowded at AX. And like I said in the beginning of the vlog, although this is my first year as an artist, I've actually attended AX as a regular attendee. And when I went back, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, it was so crowded. Like there was so much people there to the point where I was overwhelmed. I tried going through Artist Alley and it was just so congested to the point where I don't even think I even finished looking at everything. I just left and I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I was kind of expecting that to be it, for it to just kind of be jam-packed. And just like a couple of theories, I think for this AX, I think that they capped the sales for it. And one of the reasons why I actually thought that was because a lot of the day badges were sold out. So I was thinking like, okay, they definitely capped the sales for this event just to keep the numbers low. And I have a theory for that theory as well. One, of course, because there've been a lot of complaints about AX being super crowded. So they probably just took note of that and was like, we're not gonna let as much people in to the con. But in addition to that, the vendor hall, like the booths this year were massive. They had very large scale booths upstairs in the vendor hall to the point where there were some vendors that actually had to move out of that upstairs space and were placed down in that annex area. So the annex is overflow for the vendor hall, I would say. But basically the booths were so big that they were taking up so many spaces that even would occupy what would be walking space for attendees. So if you have these huge booths taking up space in the vendor hall, you are taking away the walking space that we're giving to attendees. So with bigger booths and less walking space, you have to cap the amount of attendees that you can have in the convention center. So that's my theory. Because the booths had gotten so big upstairs in the vendor hall, they had to cap the attendance, in addition to also the complaints that they had in past years. I think that's kind of why we're not seeing it being as congested as we had seen in past AX years. So that's one of my theories about why that happened. Also, a really interesting thing about AX was actually the sales progression. Typically for a 4-day convention that starts on a Thursday, what I have in mind is that Thursday will be my worst day, Friday slightly better, Saturday a lot better, and then it'll probably just drop off a little bit on Sunday. For AX, that was not the case. And of course for AX is like a little bit of a unique case. So basically the way that AX is set up is that one of the days of the AX weekend is going to be the 4th of July. So for this year, 4th of July fell on a Thursday, so they had the dates from Thursday to Sunday. So if it was on a Friday, they probably would just have the dates from Friday to Monday. So it's not like it has to be Thursday to Sunday every single year kind of thing. It depends on when the 4th of July falls for that weekend. So for this year, 4th of July was on a Thursday and they had the con from Thursday. And I think the reason as to why my numbers look so different is because 4th of July was on that Thursday. So I guess a lot of people came out while they had that holiday. And then after that, they kind of just did their own thing on Friday. And then Saturday was more of a typical high day. And then Sunday was like, okay. I feel like there wasn't much of a difference in between each day for me. It's just that going into it, and I'll put the chart right here of what that all looks like. But it was just like looking back at it, I can prepare for next time a little bit better because I know what to expect for the con. However, in the moment, it messed with my head so badly. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. Because I had these high expectations of the con and kind of like an idea of mine of how the progression would look, I ended my Thursday being not dissatisfied, but expecting a little bit more, but had in mind like, okay, it's gonna be better like the days to come. So when I had my Thursday number and then I moved into Friday expecting a little bit more, and then to have a Friday that did less than I expected, I was like, what is going on? This is weird. And then to go into Saturday, I'm like, okay, Saturday is usually what they say is like crazy day. You need all hands on deck kind of thing. And for it to be not that and just like another manageable day for me, I'm just like, oh, okay. And then Sunday was just like Sunday. I was like, huh, I don't know. It's just, I felt as though going into it, I just had expectations each day, which now I know just don't have those kind of expectations. But I didn't know that at the time. So it was making me feel really anxious as those days were coming by. But looking back at it now, it was just like a very good show for me. Just not the show that I thought it would be. And again, I was happy with my numbers. I think I did really well. I'm just letting you know, just don't go into it thinking something really crazy is gonna happen if you've already done shows that are considered by most people to be big as well. Now it's time for the part of the video that so many of you have told me that you love so much, which is Becca's 2 cents from the tent. My 2 cents are the part of the video where I give the showrunners actionable steps that they can take to make these shows better for not only the vendors, but also the attendees alike. And for AX specifically, I thought I didn't have any sense at all, because I think that they did a pretty good job with just like mitigating the crowds and just like the overall flow of the convention. But then I slept on it and I was like, actually, I do have some things to say. 3 things, as a matter of fact. So let's get into it. Sense number 1, and this is actually my biggest one. Like, if there's anything else in here that you just like focus on, please, showrunners, please focus on this. Scent number 1, increase the space behind the tables. Oh my god, dude, for some reason they made the walking aisles for the attendees so much wider in comparison to past years, which I'm sure is great for the attendees because it leads to less congestion and they can easily go through the crowd and stuff like that. Not so great for the people trying to sell stuff. However, I digress. The issue with that is that it doesn't seem as though the actual size of the artist alley has expanded. So with them actually just making the walking aisles bigger for attendees, they're just squishing the actual space in between the artists themselves even smaller and smaller. So what happened was that we barely had any room to breathe behind our tables, and each aisle was kind of different. Not the walking space, but the actual aisle space behind each artist was so narrow and varied from aisle to aisle. It was not the same. And even the tape that was on the ground was uneven. So it would be some tape that was closer to certain artists, and then some artists would have a little bit more space. It didn't really make sense. And I just feel as though AX has grown to the point where I don't understand why they don't give artists mini booths. I feel like AX, it being the largest anime convention in North America, artists there should already have it should already be at that stage where they should have mini booths. And I don't understand why they have these same kind of table restrictions that you would see at a very small convention. Just having a 6-foot table, no leeway space. Like even smaller cons like Anime Pasadena, they give you a 10x7 space. Cons like DreamCon or MomoCon, although they also give you a 6-foot table, they still give you a little bit of breathing room in between the tables themselves, as well as space behind the table. The fact that for Anime Expo, you're not even allowed to have inventory protruding past your table and behind the table itself, that's such a weird rule to me. This is so big that it has artists that are flying in from around the country, as well as even international artists coming into AX. They're bringing so much stock for this con, and they unfortunately are not able to fit everything behind their booths. So you have artists that are going back and forth throughout the day, back to their car or to their hotel to go and get inventory to bring back to the table because they couldn't fit everything underneath it. That's ridiculous to me. Like, the con is too big for that. Please increase the amount of space that you're giving to these artists. I feel as though it'll help give the artists more breathing room. It'll allow them to bring more of the stuff that they wanted to bring. I don't know how you will end up doing it, whether that be just like keep expanding how big the artist alley is and maybe push out some other folks that are on the other side, whether that be getting rid of a whole bunch entire aisle. I don't know how you do that. Of course, I love you to keep the amount of artists that you have right now so that a lot of people could still get a shot at doing AX. However, I think just move the aisle space back to how you had it in the past, or make Artist Alley itself bigger so that there is still a healthy amount of walking space for attendees, as well as a healthy amount of walking space for the artists, because they should be able to walk up and down in between like the backs of the artists to get to the bathroom, or if there's an emergency. We're not supposed to be back to back to each other like that. I feel like AX is just, it's too big for that. We can get it together. Moving on to number 2, please let the artists into the vendor hall early. This is the first time I've seen this kind of happen at a con that I've been to. So typically, for those of you that don't know, there are show hours for the event and the artists and vendors are allowed to come earlier, like set up and get things like kind of situated. But a lot of artists and vendors use that time to kind of peruse the halls, to kind of see what's around, because we don't really get a chance to do that during the show hours because of how hectic and busy it can be. That's like the perfect time to see like, oh, what's going on in the vendor hall? What's going on in the artist alley? Because, you know, you won't get a chance to do that afterward. So what would happen is that for AX, the exhibitors, like the vendors upstairs, were allowed to come downstairs to the artist alley and peruse and like check out things before the show hours started. But Artist Alley folks were not able to do that upstairs. They were telling them, oh, you can't come inside, which is weird to me. I don't know why that happened. Sometimes situations like this can occur because there's miscommunication with the security. So if that's the case, I hope that gets mitigated for next year, because I think artists should be able to just walk around an exhibit hall too. Like, we're swamped during the show hours. We don't really get a chance to do that. So especially if you don't have a helper, please let us in. I'd appreciate that. And I actually have a third cent for this video, which is please remove the extra badge from the Artist Alley price. So basically, for previous years, when you're buying your table, you're only given 1 badge for Artist Alley, and that was what you're charged for. But for 2024, the table fee includes the fee of getting 2 badges, and they charge you for that second badge, which I think is really, really weird, because for most cons that you go to, they automatically give you 2 badges with your booth fee. So you getting charged an additional fee for a helper badge, like a badge that should be complimentary, is a little odd, first of all. However, if that is the case, take it out from the booth fee. If future AX event might be similar to the foot traffic that we saw for this past year, I don't see the point of me having an extra badge that I probably won't use or need because I won't need a helper. So I would say either make that second badge complimentary, or just remove it from the base table fee, and whoever wants to buy an Artist Alley, like extra Artist Alley badge, can do so. But then those who just want to do the event solo don't have to be charged for an extra badge that they won't be using. And that's it for my 2 cents. Now, with that all said and done, would I come back to AX now knowing what I do actually know about it and having my own personal experience with AX? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. For one, I live in LA, so it's nearby. My expenses are low. I can always just go back home and get more inventory each day. I made really great money that weekend. Like, I can't really complain. Now that I've done the event for myself, I now have a new standard of AX expectations, as well as I now know like what products do well at this event, so I know what to bring more of, so I can expect to do even better if I was to come back as an artist, if they were to accept me. Yeah, overall, AX is a really good show. Like I said, I had different expectations, but even those expectations aside, I don't want you to take away like, oh, AX isn't that great. I had just crazy expectations, that's all it was. But it was a really good show for me. And especially being like in LA, I can't complain. It was great. Great. And I would definitely love to come back again. And it's definitely a con that I would recommend, whether or not you're in LA or if you're coming from out of state. I think you'll definitely make back your money, and it gets a big thumbs up for me. Oh my goodness, that was probably the longest convention breakdown I've ever done in a video, but it's because I had so much information to share, and I just want to make sure that if you are a newer artist that is unfamiliar with AX and you want to do Artist Alley and you've gotten accepted, I just want to make sure that you have as much information as possible. And if you are someone who isn't even an artist and just clicked on this video because you're feeling a little nosy and wanted to know what goes down in Artist Alley, I don't judge. I'm nosy too. But if you at all found this video helpful, informative, entertaining, I would greatly appreciate you giving me a nice thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see more vendor vlogs like this. These are all the shows that I'm gonna have coming up for 2024, and I'll have vlogs for all those shows as well. So if that tickles your fancy, you know where to subscribe to. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you've been to AX, I'd love to hear about your experience down in the comments below so we can chit chat about it. But until next time, I will see you guys. Bye.